Hello, everyone, and welcome back. It's the 2024 Big Arm Challenge. Terry Miller, the disc golf guy, alongside Parker Welck, as we're out at the Vista del Camino Park. And that man, Anthony Barela, off to a great start, sitting 7 under through the front 9. See if Parker's got some moves in the back. Gossage also off to a good start. And Zack Wysocki bouncing around a little bit. We'll see if he can get settled in. But Parker, I said it in the front, the back half of this course plays very difficult. In fact, 4 of the toughest holes are how you guys finish out of the last 6.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot scarier. There's more water shots, more distance, and just more mental struggles as we get here to hole 10. 1,025 feet. It's going to be our only par 5. But this one is definitely eagleable with 2 solid shots. We'll see how it plays out here.
We're playing all the way back to this back corner, a little bit different basket this year as we're borrowing from last year's previews.
This is the safer line you'll see, but he smashed it. That's going to be where like rollers get to and, you know, giant air shots. The OB on the left side right now is way tighter than it was in previous years, so you really can't afford to have anything go left here.
At 1,025 feet, it's playing actually as the 3rd easiest hole on the course, which some people might say is crazy, but you said it perfectly. This is also a hole that can be eagled with a couple of big drives.
Yeah, I'd like to shout someone out real quick. Cupcake round 1, he threw his tee shot so far, he had a putter upshot in, and he eagled it.
That's crazy as we're watching you go up and over, and I don't think you could have set that up any better.
No, definitely a really good drive there. That right side has that alleyway to straight to the pin. You don't really have to worry about trees when you're right here.
Exactly what you want out of a second shot.
Yes.
As you see way up ahead is where they're putting.
I elected to wait for them because I was going for the pin here. Oh my God. And instantly didn't like it. I was early releasing pretty much all day. Timing was off something, but it's disc golf like I was saying. It's all fun no matter what. Anthony doesn't like that one either. That needs some help. And he gets it. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say that was for sure going out of bounds, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100% going out of bounds. Gets bailed out, and that's what we love. As you see here, Gossage is last to throw, so his went further than AB's roller.
That's telling us something, and it gets through initially, but then gets hung up. I don't know if that had the juice to get all the way there, or, but it at least gave him a long look, right?
Oh, yeah. Just getting anywhere inside of like 50, 60 on this hole gives you some sort of look at eagle, and you want that every time. Zack, a little long. There is OB back there, but he avoids it.
This hole averaged 4.72 in round number 1.
And I think if there wasn't OB, it would average way lower than that. That OB on the left, I see so many people just kind of hyzer out off the tee and go out of bounds. So that's just an instant stroke you get back.
So everyone has looks for birdie.
Zack is putting on a putting clinic.
Zack comes into this round and this weekend with a 971 rating. AB 1037. You're at 1023, and Gossage at 1032. Time and date stamp for your careers.
Yeah, I'm actually at a career high right now.
Excellent.
With rating, so I've been really happy with how I've been playing lately. Hoping to keep it up.
And here we are on 11.
425 feet. I think this is one of the harder holes on the course. You have a sliver to land in bounds. Water out of bounds, the sidewalk and beyond out of bounds. Just all around very tough. You'll see a lot of people taking just a super overstable disc and just throwing it somewhere along the sliver. All right, mandatory cupcake check-in. Because you never know if you're shooting 18 under. We are 2 under through 14. Okay. Tomorrow he's popping off at 19 under.
Eagles?
Yeah, we got 1 eagle
Okay.
and 1 par.
All right.
Parred hole 1 and just went crazy.
All I got.
Let's go.
Both ways.
Sounds about right.
Shout out Cupcake.
All the skills in the world to put on a show, and it's a matter of just how low is he going to go on any given round out here.
Yeah.
Called the Big Arm Challenge, and he's up for it.
Definitely one of the further throwing pros in the world. Cupcake needs to get back out there on tour and show everyone what he's got.
And speaking of tour, I mean, we're just a few weeks from 2025, so lots of chatter about, you know, where people are going, things that are happening all within contracts. New Zealand is popping off. There's a lot of things that are unfolding. And even in the middle of this round is when there was a conversation about GK Pro renaming the GT as in Go Throw, and they're talking about some additional events. So a lot of excitement in the air. Well, that's enough to hold your breath for a moment.
Seriously, it's so hard to hang out over that water. I don't want any part of it, so I'm just staying over the inbounds.
You're lucky.
And goes for a swim.
Is there a strategy to just throwing it as hard as you can, essentially, and hoping to have that just hyzer out near the basket and go be way up by the pin? Is that?
Yeah, I think the actual play when people do that is to throw it right at the basket and just go long. Just throw a straight disc, and then you'll have like a 13-foot putt. But it's hard to actually get it perfectly on line with the basket throwing it that hard. So I think just laying it up is a little safer there. Oof, a little wide. That kind of scared me a little bit. Let's see if AB wants this. Okay. Maybe he's. I don't even know if he was going for it or not. Kind of looked like it.
It's certainly a daunting hole just in general because of obviously all the OB left and right. But then you're almost guaranteed to be coming off of a long wait. This one wasn't as bad as we've seen in the past, as you barely chain out. But you're stepping up to the most difficult shot probably of the day, and it's after you've kind of been iced.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's definitely the smallest landing zone that we need to execute through this whole time. So, and after waiting, 2-card backup, it's definitely tough.
Playing as the most difficult hole on the entire course here today, averaging 3.97, so almost a full stroke over par. Shout out, just 4 birdies happened the entire round on hole number 11. We got to get you over to Samui. I know you've played some island golf in Hawaii and such, but we'll get you over to Thailand.
Yeah, Samui looks fun.
All right, we head to 12, which isn't a lot of fun off the tee, is it?
It can be. I mean, you definitely don't want to throw it out of bounds here. 609 feet. There's kind of a landing zone. I believe to clear the baseball field, it's about 400-ish feet. So that's pretty much all you got to do. Avoid these poles, land in bounds, and then you should get like a routine birdie. Goss going right for the out of bounds. But he ends up with a great toss. I mean, that's going to be like maybe a jump putt from there.
And I'm floored to say that this is playing as the easiest hole on the course today in round 1. It doesn't in round 2, but somehow this is playing as the easiest hole on the course.
Yeah, I think if we had just any sort of headwind, it would probably be middle of the pack or even like playing on the more harder side. But just because we had no wind, it was just so easy to get over the fence. That's a play you don't really see out of a lot of people there, is throwing a forehand over the fence. It is much further than it probably looks on camera. And just throwing a forehand there you're crazy. And another early release.
Not too punishing, though?
I mean, I stayed in bounds, so anywhere over there is good as long as you're in bounds.
And as we're pushing into the later afternoon at this point, after the backup and everything else, you're seeing everyone's added a layer or has gone to some long sleeves. AB's put on long sleeves. You've put on your sweatshirt by this point. I think Gossage has run to grab his long sleeves.
Definitely got really chilly for us as we were waiting, sitting around doing nothing on the previous hole.
Easy standstill.
Now, I really like what Zack is doing there. He's aiming for the, above the basket, so if it shuffles at all, it's going to shuffle down towards the basket. Some good disc golf IQ, I'm sure he got from his brother.
That's more than you want to leave on that approach. Doesn't matter.
That would look solid. Nose down right into the center. Great putt by Goss. This one still has some meat on the bones.
Gossage matching Barela at 8 under, but not for long. AB's putter's still looking good.
Man, can we get like a cough counter for Gossage?
Yeah, there you go.
Let me know in the comments how many times you've heard Goss cough.
And I got to make sure to throw him fully under the bus because I don't want somebody to think it's me as a camera operator that's out there doing it. So
Yeah.
Then I would go through the effort to try and mute it. We head over to one of my favorite holes on the course. I don't know if I love this exact pin position. Typically, this is my favorite, but how difficult is it to stick this landing?
It's basically impossible if you want to stick it next to the basket. Normally, we play to that right position that's going off the screen now, but they decided to move it in the hardest place possible. It is called the Big Arm Challenge, not the Pee Wee's Playhouse Challenge. So you'll definitely see a lot of just giant spike hyzers trying to land next to the basket or playing it safe and aiming for the other basket and just pitching up.
Is there something to be said about you clearly want to go deep as opposed to coming up short? And somehow that checks up just in front of the OB sidewalk.
Yeah, I mean, getting that perfect distance control is so hard to do.
Yeah, 362 downhill. What do you feel like the effective throwing power really is? What do you feel like the distance is?
Like, I mean, for these guys, probably like a 90% Raptor. I think that's what Goss threw. So anything around there is just good. And Zack is in trouble here because the drop zone is very hard. It's a little closer, but not where you want to be.
And is it drop zone even if you go past the pin? Do you know?
Nope. It's only if you never cross inbounds.
Okay. Oh, and a friendly tree there for AB that checks him right next to the pin. Throwing good shots, but also getting the love, right?
Yeah, I think
this is home state love.
He probably would have ended up being inbounds anyways on that shot, but now he's just way closer. As I am dancing.
Nice.
Very lucky to be inbounds there.
The perfect rollback. And this is scary.
Yeah, but I think he's doing the right thing here, kind of trying to play the skip on with an overstable disc, getting close to it. And he did a great job of getting closer. If you try and push it any closer than that, you're asking to go out of bounds again.
And we both mentioned the lack of wind until now. Now we're starting to feel it as we're heading into the most difficult holes.
Yes, there was like, ooh, good bid, solid contact off the band. But the wind, I noticed it on right after I putt this when we were waiting on the next hole. Definitely blowing. Another great putt by Parker, solid right in the band. No, I'm joking. I did have some trees. I had to go low. I was pretty shocked that I missed high. I couldn't even see the band from where I was.
And it's certainly worth noting that Gossage at a certain range goes to kind of more of a stabbing throw putt as opposed to his kind of swooping down and lifting into the basket with more of a pitch. And it's just once he gets to that range, he kind of switches up his style. Seems to work out just fine there. That's going to be pretty disappointing considering how your drive landed inbounds and gave you the look.
Yeah.
Just not going your way right now. And Zach's going to walk away with a double bogey.
All right, hole 14, 508 feet. The wind started blowing on us here. It's tough. The water level was about this high as we're seeing it right now. You see a lot of forehands kind of pitching up. It is a par 4, so you'll see a lot of birdies here as long as you just keep that first shot in bounds. Don't think Goss was trying to do that. That is extra safe. You normally want to play the hyzer more over the water and land like right about there where the camera's pointing.
And another consideration at this point is the pace just slows down. It's the nature of the course. It gets a lot more difficult in these final few holes, and there's likely a wait on this hole. There's probably a wait on the next hole, maybe even on the rest of the holes as you guys close out. So that's going to factor in as we're watching you go with the big turnover.
Solid. That should be a pretty easy birdie from there. That's all you really need. Zach electing to go for this different line. You don't see a lot of, I mean, maybe you do see a lot of people doing this, but not on our card. Nothing really I've seen. But put him in a really tough spot here.
He's got to try and play the skip out and around, and it just doesn't have the right angle. Or it might have had the right angle, but then got caught up on something, and it slows him down. You also see that he's added the long sleeves as well.
And this course is kind of weird with the skips. It's very skippy, but there are dirt spots like everywhere, which will cause it to just get just a straight dud skip. So you're kind of just playing slots out here, hoping to do what you want it to do.
Feels like it's on the softer side. I was going to say on the softer side of being a par 4, but that's assuming you get a good tee shot off. Once you've done that, then the hole seems very straightforward as we're seeing you pitch up, but not quite enough.
It's still right there. I mean, I would have liked to go a little bit further, but
it's enough for you to have to think about.
Yeah, I just didn't want to hit the tree above, so I was keeping it low.
And
Solid
easy to be
bit.
short there with the water behind it, right?
I was just going to say, like, these raised baskets with the water right behind it, it really makes you think about what you're doing.
And now a little bit of separation between Barela and Gossage. What was just one stroke is now extended to 2, but both of them clearly playing phenomenal golf.
As we get to hole 15, which I think is probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest hole on the course, if you're playing for birdie. A lot of people are going to elect to just go around everything and then pitch up for the easy par, but I believe it's like a 420-ish carry if you get to the perfect landing zone to get all the way across. So it's not easy, definitely not easy. And I wanted to point out they did pull down some trees on the right side here, which you are able to do this play now, which you were not able to do in previous years.
Yeah, for the last 20 years, actually, we've been watching that right side tree line, you know, certainly help shape the shot off this tee shot. And it took me a second to realize, like, wait a minute, why did that look so easy for AB?
Yeah.
And it's because I didn't realize so many trees were gone.
So AB throws far enough where he can literally get it all the way to a spot where you are able to attack the green. But, you know, he's not human, so not everyone can do that. Gossage with a perfect angle. I did hear someone black aced. There is a basket. You could barely see it. Someone black aced that basket, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah, and that also puts you in a really awkward position, you know, for your approach, right? Then you're probably just standing there, throwing a flick, just trying to get in position to go over on the next one after that. Yeah, there are a lot of baskets, you know, out on this course, including the next hole where you're going to see 3 different baskets all in your fairway while you're playing to the longest one as Zach comes up just to the right of the Ramada over there.
And
does this have enough?
Not even close. It's a common theme, just the early release for me today. So I elected to move up so I can get a little more distance closer to the pin. And this is about that 400, 420 spot right there. And off the railing. I got so lucky that it didn't just knock me straight back.
Crazy.
Whoa.
You're so lucky.
Well, Gossage calling himself lucky.
I don't think that was luck. I think his play was to throw it straight in the tree and go through it.
Wow, that's an interesting one. We got another distance to pin brought to us by First Light, 319 for AB. You know the shot's going to be a lot more than 320 feet in terms of his distance traveled. He's going way up. Sticks the landing.
Getting over there in 2 is something that not a lot of people are capable of doing, and it really is cool watching these guys play. I still get, you know, fanboyed out on some of these shots that these guys throw.
And you see how close Zack was to being out of bounds. Again, if any part of your disc is inbounds, then you're in, and he was hanging over the edge, so he was considered inbounds. But always call over another card member. Make sure somebody else sees it whenever you're close to an OB situation, just so everyone else can verify, or someone else on your card can verify it. But he was in, and now he's flirting with his backside OB.
Gave it all the juice you needed. Just a little left, it looked like. I think it's always funny looking at yourself play. I know exactly what I'm doing wrong and why I'm missing so many putts after reviewing this. I'm not lined up properly. It's so cool how, you know, you can go back and just find yourself doing things improperly. So if you guys want to get better, just take some videos of yourself when you're playing good, and then take some video of yourself when you're, you know, feeling off, and then compare the two.
Right now, AB giving us a lesson on how to attack this long course. Making it look easy. Gossage take advantage? Yes, he can. Yeah, aside from the Gossage coffer count, tell us if that's something you've been doing, working on your form in any way, and if you're using some video assistance. Like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Appreciate all of the support. Appreciate Parker for joining us here as we have just a couple of holes left to go. And they're lengthy, including this one.
Yeah, 804 feet with skinny fairway the entire way. If I were to guess, I would say this is the hardest hole on the course. Just because it is nearly impossible to get there in 2, let alone get there in 2 and stay in bounds. A lot of trees you got to avoid. You're going to want to do like a 1-angle shot on your second shot to just keep it in bounds.
And you were pretty close. It's playing as the 3rd most difficult, but it's almost a tie with hole 18 in terms of the challenge. So 16, 17, and 18 are 3 of the 4 hardest holes on the course.
Calling it for it to sit, and that's where you want to be. You want to be left side so you can have that forehand going straight into the basket. Big misrelease by Goss there. Never had a chance of ever being in bounds. He wants to rethrow that one.
It's out of bounds. Oh, but then somehow pops back up and over, and somebody will have to take a look and see just how close that is. Low line drive. Trying to put the brakes on.
Yeah, that tree specifically right there is a Mando, so it's about the only one. Really got to take care. Is that? That's inbounds, looks like.
Isn't it funny? So this is the camera angle I'm initially at, and then I'm like, no, I'm going to move over so everybody can see, which talks about video evidence and all these other things, like how deceptive an angle can look. So you can see he's clearly in bounds there, but a moment ago it was a lot tougher to decipher. But Zach, back-to-back holes, cutting it very close with OBs.
Yeah.
This run-up, though, not ideal.
And this shot shape is probably one of the hardest ones to do in all of disc golf. I think that that's fine. To be honest, that it would have been so hard to stay in bounds for him there.
Seeing you go with your second forehand of the round, and this is a big pull.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how far away I was, but I definitely got lucky skipping off the path there.
And you've been somewhat reluctant or not going to forehands as often. Is that true?
It's more so just me trying to learn how to manipulate the angles better with backhand. That's something that I really wanted to try and work on with myself this offseason. As I'm seeing all the other guys like Isaac Robinson and Ezra Robinson just really fillet the courses with no forehand. And I want to have all the weapons, so I'm training myself.
So sparingly going to that forehand. That's exactly what we see AB setting up. We also just saw a great shot by Gossage going out and over. One angle here for AB, but little meat left on it. We'll see what the putter's doing. It's got to pump the brakes, but there might have been a chance had it hit the grass first, and maybe it would have slowed down enough, but just too much on it.
I was surprised it caught.
That was high left side, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the basket is actually leaning just barely, and if it wasn't leaning, I don't think that catches.
I think you hit in that spot 10 more times. I don't know if
any of them are catching.
I was going to say 4 or 5 of them, but nonetheless, it's in for birdie, and you have one of the rare birdies on this hole, as we were just saying, one of the more difficult holes out here today.
And Gossage with a fantastic par save. He only took 3 shots as well, but he had an out-of-bounds stroke.
Left side doesn't catch for AB. That one was much lower. Not only rare birdie, you were the only birdie in the entire field, the only person to birdie it here on 16.
I was
so
not expecting that.
We'll put that in your back pocket.
Yeah.
I wish I had an award to give you.
Yeah. Does that make me better than Anthony Barela?
I think so. I mean, what would the award be for the only person to birdie? There's going to have to be a name for that. Somebody's going to have to get creative, unless you think of one. But we got just 2 holes left to play, 17 here.
Yeah, this one's a nightmare if you have a headwind. But luckily for us, the wind kind of died down for us, and it wasn't like too much of it. I think it's about a 400 and low 400 carry. But you also don't want it to skip out of bounds left. That's where everyone seems to go. There's also a layup that I'm not sure anyone's going to do right down that right alleyway.
I think everyone that can't throw as far as you guys thinks about that layup to the right. In fact, I'm guessing a decent amount of the division will have to do that, or maybe half the division.
That makes the hole incredibly harder doing that layup play.
There's prime conditions to be attacking this one.
I am getting deja vu. I think he did that every round last year. This hole has his number.
Is it just a matter of him wanting to attack the pin? Because there's so much room out to the right side.
Yeah.
Is it undercommitting on a turnover, or trying to go one angle and just not putting it out far enough to the right? What is it for him?
I really don't know. For this one specifically, I think it might be the tee pad maybe. It was a little bumpy, and they tried to fix it, but there was like a gopher ravine thing that was going on, so they did their best. Zach never really getting it above the wall.
Yeah, you saw him somewhat dip as he came through with the release there, and that was low out of the hand. So with that, these guys go immediately to a drop zone, regardless of where you went out. You saw AB was way left and Zach was way right. Either way, it's this drop zone.
Perfect. That's not easy. This is not an easy shot.
Yeah, if this is the standard drop zone, I want to say this is around 280 feet to the pin, I think
Sounds
is
about
what,
right,
what we've typically seen on most layouts. So still enough to think about. Zach trying to avoid a double bogey.
Finally a good hit.
Yeah, doing some work here. I mean, you just picked up the most difficult, one of the more difficult holes on the course in 16. This one's also difficult, so you get the birdie on 17. A little momentum going. In, but not by much.
A little sketchy. It definitely looked like he slowed down his whole stroke there. That's kind of that range that's a little sketchy for him.
And it's been a long day, but we're finally heading to hole 18. And you've got the honors.
Yeah, this hole's tough. I mean, you got like river out of bounds, or the sidewalks, and also sidewalk and beyond, road and beyond, and it's just everywhere. Like, it's minefield with out of bounds. It's crazy.
Along with the one Mando pole that you see as well that you have to go to the left of.
Yes, no spike hyzers.
That is too flat and way out of bounds for Gossage.
Let's see if AB can take advantage here. He should be thinking about picking up a stroke here going in tomorrow. I think he's going for the basket.
That is a big turnover roller, but it looks like it maybe hit almost standing up too much when it hit.
Yeah, it's hard to get that right. And, if it's a little too less of an angle, you're going out of bounds in the water left too much, and you just kind of curl. So I think that was a smart play, baby.
Yeah, if you're going to miss, you'd rather have it curl up and to the right,
yeah,
as you're saying. And then you're throwing downhill, so getting that angle, I think, is that much more difficult.
Goss with a little bit of a tricky run up there. He had to hop up onto the grass.
Yeah, from over in that neighborhood, I think you're thinking it's somewhere around 5-something to the pin still.
Yeah.
I want to say about 530 or so to the pin. You're a little closer. Textbook.
Pretty good, yeah.
Gives you a long look. Is that what you're hoping for on this hole?
Yeah, I was kind of hoping to just crash into the tree, but I guess I don't throw that far.
Not that throw, anyway. Zach's coming in a little too fast, and that gets a couple of accelerator skips right out of bounds. So very awkward lie here as AB's dealing with the tree on his back, and then he's got to go around the tree that's directly in front of him.
Oh, there is an OB line right there.
It looks like he's going to be safe of that. And that path to the left, as you were just saying, that plays essentially as a river. So if you're completely surrounded by that path, you're out of bounds as well. But AB is going to pitch up, and looks like that should secure a par. Low ceiling for Gossage.
Oh, wow.
The fact that he could laser one in there and still draw metal is incredible in itself. And you're trying to close out. You got a little momentum coming off 16 and 17. Never a doubt.
Yeah.
3 consecutive birdies to finish on those 3 holes is very impressive.
Yeah, we figured out how to play just a little too late.
Solid putt by Zach. So with that, Parker, thank you for joining. We're going to see you again in round 2, aren't we?
Yes, we are. See you guys later.
Appreciate it, everyone. Like, share, subscribe, all those things. As I always say, do all the YouTube things. We've got a pretty stellar round here, and Anthony Barela will be able to tap in, close out with the 11 under. Gossage falls back to 10, but those 2 will be on our lead card. We have a couple others join us as well. Beautiful Saturday out here in Arizona. We'll see Kyle Kriekhaus along with Connor Rock all on the lead card. Championship Sunday at the Big Arm Challenge coming up. We'll see you there.